It's that time of year when you're thinking about comfort food and you might have all those frozen chickens in the freezer from processing day this spring and summer. Before this past spring and summer, it's a new year now. So in this video, I wanted to show you one of the ways that we use up a whole chicken in our house. Very easy, simple recipes. Some of them I have on my website, some of them I just wing it because it's so simple. And so I'm going to take one of our whole chickens, and it's actually a fairly small chicken, and make 3 meals out of it. Speaking of chickens, I have an incubator full of chicks back here, so if you hear peeping during this video, that is why. So the first recipe I'm making is actually kind of twofold. So the first recipe I'll actually make is for nachos, but that was for lunch that day. And so I'm actually, in the beginning of this video, getting ready for chicken pot pie that night. So I start by making the pie crust, and it's a very simple recipe that I have used for years. I'll either make a sourdough pie crust or I'll just make a simple, normal, everyday, average pie crust, and it's just flour, butter. I like to shred it. It's cold butter because it works better that way. And then we add an egg and some apple cider vinegar and some water, and that is it. Now you can get the sourdough version of this on my website, and I will link that information below. You knead it until it's just come together. Don't knead it too much. It's not like a bread, it is a pastry dough. And then I separate it into 2 sections, wrap it in saran wrap, and put it in the fridge until I need it later in the day. So that part is done. The next part is actually getting the chicken into the Instant Pot. Now, I'm putting a whole frozen chicken into the Instant Pot. I normally wouldn't do this if we were actually eating the chicken just as like a baked chicken, but because I'm using it for other meals and it's gonna get cooked again, I am going to go ahead and make the frozen chicken in the Instant Pot. The reason for that is because frozen meats in the Instant Pot can tend to be much more dry and rubbery if you don't cook it long enough. So that is why they suggest that you don't put frozen meat in the Instant Pot. So I just add some carrots and celery, bay leaves, thyme, and water, as well as my chicken and salt and pepper and other regular seasonings into the Instant Pot. And for frozen chicken, I do it for about an hour and a half with the pressure lid closed. So once it's done, I started that in the morning, it's actually time for us to get our lunch. So I just shredded 1 breast of the chicken. I added some organic taco seasoning, and you can see the little one likes to help. And I just shredded it up. You actually don't need a lot of meat for tacos or for nachos. Then I just brought out some organic tortilla chips, a can of organic refried beans that I had, added the chicken, cheese, sour cream, and that is a good meal for us. The next recipe that I want to share with you is the chicken pot pie recipe. So we actually had that for dinner that evening. So we had nachos for lunch and we had dinner that evening, but you could certainly do nachos for dinner one night as well. Now this is one of the most popular recipes on my website, so for sure check it out because the recipe on my website is a little bit different than the one in this video. This is just one of those recipes that I completely wing while I'm doing it. So I started off by adding butter, and I had a little bit of whole wheat freshly grained flour that I had milled earlier that week, and I put that together in a saucepan and let it melt, combine it well to make a roux. And once it's thick enough, then you would add chicken broth. Now, because you see me making the chicken, I don't actually have chicken broth ready yet for that week. I will in a little bit after I show you this. So I'm actually using an organic chicken stock, almost like a slurry. And I get it from Costco. So you just add that in there and you add enough water to make a little bit of almost like a gravy with your flour and butter. And then I add seasonings like thyme, salt, pepper. I'll add in a bay leaf. The salt I used that day was actually from Redmond's salt, and I was using organic onion salt. Next, I add in some of our own homegrown canned carrots because that's just what I had extra of. And then I also added in a can of organic mixed vegetable medley. It has green beans and corn and other types of beans in it. And you can kind of just throw in whatever you want to in this chicken pot pie recipe. At that point, I took another chicken breast and I put it into my mixture and shredded it up. Now this makes one chicken pot pie. You can see it's not a lot, and so we were able to get one chicken pot pie out of this filling. So you're gonna bake it at 350 degrees for about an hour or until the crust is golden and ready to go. After I put the chicken pot pie together, now it was time to make my chicken stock. I just added water to all the bones, the carrots that I put in there before, and added some more seasonings like bay leaf. I added a little bit of apple cider vinegar to help draw out those good bone nutrients, and I left it on the slow cooker for a few hours. I did the slow cooker setting in my Instant Pot. You can make bone broth in your Instant Pot, but it doesn't make much of a difference. However you make it is good for you. So once that was done, the next day I made the next recipe, which is creamy chicken and rice. Now here's the trick to creamy chicken and rice. You can have it as a soup the first night, and then the second night you can have it as creamy chicken and rice. So that's what I do. So I put extra liquid in the first night to actually make a soup out of the recipe, which you'll see in the video. And then the second night when I have leftovers, it actually just, the rice has absorbed all of the liquid. And so I always try to make a little bit extra either for lunch the next day or dinner the next day. And it is then chicken and rice. And people can't say they didn't have, you know, they had leftovers, because really it's not leftovers. It's a totally different meal. I start by adding 2 quarts of homemade chicken stock. I add my vegetables like carrots and celery. You'll see that trend in my cooking. I'm very, very simple. I add herbs like thyme and oregano and bay leaves, salt, pepper. Sometimes I'll throw an onion in there, it just depends. And then I add the shredded chicken from whatever was left over from the thighs and legs from the previous recipes and days that I used the chicken. I also add in a garlic clove or 2 for extra flavor and to help really get our immune system going as a natural, healthy food. After you have all your vegetables and stock ready, you throw in your rice, or you can even do it just with the stock before the vegetables. And then you add in a block of cream cheese, a little bit of sour cream, the rest of your shredded chicken from the days before that you didn't use it. And then suddenly you have this amazing chicken and rice soup that is creamy and oh so good. It's especially good the next day. We really enjoy chicken and rice the next day from that recipe. All right guys, check out these recipes below or take notes if they're not on my blog. If you like this video, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this, I would love to do them for you as I have time, and winter is here, so I'm doing more hands-on cooking and have more time to do more comfort food videos. So let me know what you think. Hope you have a great day and happy homesteading.